Tonight, police slam the actions of a driver caught on camera dangerously dicing with death on the Eyre Peninsula. And wild winds in Port Augusta sends more dust across the town, sparking a major protest.
This is Southern Cross News with FRASER Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Shocking dashcam footage has emerged of a terrifying near miss on an Eyre Peninsula highway. The vision has sent shockwaves through the local community, prompting police to issue a stern warning.
Overtaking onto the wrong side of the road just inches from disaster. This shocking vision uploaded onto social media shows a silver Mazda illegally crossing double white lines into the path of an oncoming car. The driver behind the wheel of that car, a white Commodore, swerves to the left just in time.
Had a collision occurred in this scenario, it would have most likely have led to someone being killed.
The video was captured by a dash cam attached to a road train travelling along the Lincoln Highway a few kilometres south of Arno Bay. Local police were stunned by the lack of care shown in the video, prompting a stern message by the Commissioner.
We're out there to make sure you're accountable for your driving behaviour.
So far this year, there's been 11 fatalities on our road. 9 were in rural areas. Police say they're cracking down on deadly driving.
We know that there are high speeds used on country regional roads, and we want to prevent people from coming to harm.
Police have opened an investigation into the incident and will be questioning the driver of the Mazda, who could potentially face a charge of driving without due care. If found guilty, they'll face a hefty fine and loss of licence, but police say it's lucky they weren't just another statistic. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Strong winds have stirred up yet another plume of dust from the power station site in Port Augusta. It's led to a massive protest by the local Dustbusters group, which staged a slow drive through town.
Bringing busy Augusta highway traffic to a crawl. With wind gusts of up to 65 kilometres an hour yesterday afternoon, the power station site topsoil and the ash below didn't stand a chance.
Look at the dust. Does anybody really want to be breathing that stuff in? No.
Protesters staged their first rally, raising concerns about the PM10 particulates picked up by the EPA's dust monitors around town and the long-term health effects.
It's not good for our health. It's not good for people with medical issues, it's not good for the children, and it should just be done properly.
The group is calling on the state government to implement a full and proper remediation of the site.
The business has been operating here for decades. The community never built the business and they never closed the business, but they're suffering from what's occurring now. It is closed.
12 months ago I was diagnosed with lung cancer and I'm not a smoker, so it's crossed my mind. Has living in the shadow of a power station, and then it's dust, it's toxic dust, been one of the causative effects of me being diagnosed at such a young age with such a nasty disease.
Cars plastered with signs the protesters drove at 5 kilometres an hour from Stirling North to Port Augusta West. Group members confident that so far SA Best and the Liberal Party will meet their demands.
I had some initial conversations about what we're asking for, and so we will wait to see whether the Labor government will commit.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill police are asking anyone with details about a possible assault to come forward. Between Sunday night and Monday morning, officers believe a 72-year-old man in Sturt Park suffered injuries consistent with assault. He was taken to hospital for treatment, but his condition wasn't considered life-threatening. Whyalla could soon be the home of a pilot academy, with SA Best pledging to make it happen if it holds the balance of power. It says it'll work with Qantas to bring up to 500 people to the city for training.
Flying high on the back of strong opinion polls in the seat of Giles, Mr X wants to get Whyalla sky high.
Hundreds of people being trained to be pilots here in the regions. There'll be a huge boost to Whyalla.
If the party holds the balance of power, SA Best will push the next government to negotiate with Qantas to bring its proposed pilot academy to the Eyre Peninsula. The national carrier is proposing the move to help boost pilot numbers. The local candidate says with the airline already flying to Port Lincoln and Whyalla, the move would be a natural fit.
We extend our airport and strengthen our airport to accommodate for bigger aircraft, and this dovetails directly into what we've done so far with Becker helicopters.
The potential academy will follow on from Queensland-based Becker pilots, moving its helicopter training operations to Whyalla. Mr. Antonio says he's sick of the city being a departure lounge for workers, saying diversification is the key.
When the shipyard closed down, we didn't diversify, which now has put us in a very awkward position. Everything does not stop at Jepps Cross.
Current Giles MP Eddie Hughes says he's discussed the idea already with Whyalla Council.
But what I said as a responsible Member of Parliament, until we get something a little bit more definite, we should not go out there in public.
Qantas declined to comment. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
After the break, the latest on the CBD upgrade in Kadina. That's next. The SA Conservatives have lashed out at the backlog for road projects in our region. The party has released an FOI outlining work on the Lincoln Highway, Air Highway and Port Pirie to Port Broughton Road, saying it won't begin until 2032. MLC Robert Brokenshire claims it amounts to $160 million in a backlog since 2004, but member for Giles Eddie Hughes has hit back, saying Labor has spent nearly over $300 million on regional roadworks. Broken Hill could be a benefactor of a multi-million-dollar cash injection into regional New South Wales. The state government is pledging over $4 billion to be invested into regional parts of the state after it sold its share in the Snowy Mountain Hydro deal. The Silver City has in the past received state government funding to cover the cost of upgrading the Civic Centre. Meantime, the future of the Broken Hill Chamber of Commerce is now safe, thanks to a new president coming on board. There were fears the business support group would fail to continue this year.
It's a cornerstone of the local community, but it's been without a leader for over a year.
The Chamber of Commerce here in Broken Hill has not had a president for a little while. It's been in a bit of a state of flux.
Facing an uncertain future and lacking manpower to run it, the Chamber put out an expression of interest for partnerships in late last year. Steve Martin is head of the Far West Business Enterprise Centre in the city, and after a lengthy application process, managed to strike up a deal.
We'd bring the Business Connect New South Wales business program into here, and we would also more than likely bring in Destination Broken Hill as part of the Chamber. So we'd end up with 3 entities in the Chamber.
With those partnerships, the new chief says tourism will be a major focus.
We'll then give the Chamber the tourism arm. And it will also then mean that all of the businesses, because I've been saying for ages that tourism is a big part of this town and every business should know about tourism, so bringing it into the Chamber would be good.
He's also aiming to revitalise the Chamber and increase membership before networking with local businesses.
The Chamber's still going to be here, it's still going to be active, and there'll be a voice for local business.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
An election poll has revealed Jeff Brock is most likely to hold the seat of Frome. The Advertiser newspaper surveyed more than 500 people, which has Mr Brock sitting at a narrow 52-48 victory. His primary vote has slipped, however. It's down to 36% from 44%, with the poll showing supporters are moving to support Liberal candidate Kendall Jackson, who lost to Brock in the 2014 election. The survey shows her primary vote has boosted from 35% to 44%. Well, stage 2 of Kadina's CBD redevelopment is well underway, but it hasn't been without its hiccups. The road level of Goyder Street has had to be raised to provide easy access to the shops without installing ramps.
That's involved also new drainage, new paving, and that's nearing completion at the moment. So by the end of next week, the paving should be completed.
Works to revitalise other side streets are set to begin in the coming weeks. The council says the upgrade is on budget and on time and is set to be finished by the end of the year. Still to come tonight, all the sport results from across the region, plus the local soccer star doing the region proud on the world stage. That's next. Well, Port Lincoln boasts some of the best sporting facilities in the region, but when it comes to target shooting, some say the Lower EP is the best in the world. For 60 years, the Port Lincoln Pistol and Shooting Club has been hitting targets and in that time has established itself on the global stage.
It's fast, precise, highly skilled, and every shot counts. Shooting is an international sport with competitions ranging from the Olympics to the World Championships, and it's right on Port Lincoln's doorstep.
I started with an Olympic-style background, where it's more precision, and then graduated into the more dynamic stuff with practical shooting.
International shooter Damien Curtis is the president of the Port Lincoln Pistol and Shooting Club, which has been operating for 60 years. Ranked third in the world for speed shooting, he says Port Lincoln boasts some of the best target facilities in the world.
It's always really refreshing to come here, and honestly shot some of the best stages, the most funnest stages I've ever shot anywhere, right here.
But it's not just professionals having a go. The Pistol Club is open to everyone.
I've always been interested in shooting, but it wasn't until I actually tried a handgun that I decided that it's what I wanted to do.
The club boasts more than 100 members and has ongoing weekly events, and Julie says it's all about the people.
Even though it is a competition, it's still very casual and you have fun and you don't take it too seriously. But yeah, we just come out and have a good time.
But safety is always paramount.
Make sure that everybody's safe, keep the range safe, keep the shooter safe, and just make sure that everyone has fun and gets home.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
The Broken Hill Outback Emus are looking to lend a helping hand to the city's junior sportsmen and women. The club is running its Pursuit of Excellence in Sport program aimed at financially assisting the city's boys and girls with a passion for being active. The funding can go towards travel costs, accommodation and other expenses that arise when playing sport interstate or overseas. For more information, visit our Facebook page. A 19-year-old from Nappabee is putting the Spencer Golf in the global sporting arena. Emily Condon has made her debut for Australia's Matildas soccer team, and her hometown cheer squad couldn't be prouder.
Working her way up the ranks of women's soccer, Emily began her soccer career with the Northern Demons in Port Pirie. It wasn't long before she made her way to Adelaide United women's team.
Today she is actually in Portugal, playing for the Matildas for Australia, and we are very proud parents.
Ever since she was a little girl, she's worked very, very hard towards a dream, and to see your kids realise their dreams through that hard work and commitment is just an awesome thing.
Coaches realised Emily's potential when she began back in Year 4.
She stood out even amongst the boys, so you could see that she had great talent from an early age.
It hasn't been all fun and games though. There's been a few setbacks along the way. Living rurally meant the family was forced to commute to Adelaide 5 times a week to train with Adelaide United.
We're doing over 50,000 kilometres for 5 years in a row to get her to training.
It was the last Adelaide United game where Emily proved herself to the Matildas coach, Alan Stajic.
And he actually gave her a good rap and said she was the best under-20s player that we actually had over there.
From there, she was selected to spend 4 days in Sydney at a training camp with the Matildas team.
And while over there, 2 girls were injured over on the pitch, and Alan said to Emily, I hope you got your bag and you got your pack well because you're coming to Portugal with us.
Emily made her debut for the Australian team on Saturday night in the Matildas' scoreless draw against Portugal. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
To some more local sport now, and the Port Augusta Basketball Leagues are preparing to wrap up the season ahead of the semi-finals this week. Amelia Simpson joins us now. Amelia, there's been some high scoring on the local courts.
That's right, Fraser. All teams here in Port Augusta's Basketball Association are gearing up to take up that grand final title in just over 2 weeks. In the women's, the top dog Spartans are showing why they deserve their place at the top ahead of their finals this Thursday. Lower-ranking Falcons also squared off. Falcons Black wiping out Falcons Yellow with a 10-point lead. Big numbers on the scoreboard in the men's, with Wildcats defeating Wildcats Red 71-27 and Cobras getting the better of their feathered friends by 28 points. In Pirie, Ducks thrashed Tomcats by 30 points and Globetrotters couldn't beat Pacers' accurate shots, ending up 44-82. To the Whyalla women's games, a win for Rupina has taken them straight to the prelim with Titans next next week. Demons 1's thrashing of Demons 2 has taken them straight to the grand final. A nail-biter for the men's Wildcats, finishing with 1 point over Rupina, Bevan not scoring once against Demons. In Lincoln, Sharks, Rangers White and Lincoln South's Yellow thrashed their opponents. To the women's footy, the Lions thrashed Mid-North 46-16, while Law and Order couldn't beat the Roosters, who finished up 55-25. Baseball in Pirrie this week saw Tigers continue an unbeaten season. Jordan Fuller a standout there, batting 1,000 with 3 safe hits from 3 times at bat and 4 RBIs and back-to-back home runs. Over on Pirrie's tennis courts, Risdon Uniting defeated Railway Black and Trinity Gold taking down Trinity Red, with key players Nicole Lofts and Caitlin Oliphant there. In Broken Hill, Swallows got the better of drop shots and wins for topspins and smashes. So great to see some strong games here in the region as usual. I know our basketball teams here in Port Augusta will be training extra hard, keeping that grand final title in mind. Now, if you've got some local sports results you want seen here on TV, drop us a line at localsport@sca.com.au. Fraser?
Thank you, Amelia. Amelia Simpson in Port Augusta there. Well, stay with us. It's time for the weather with Amy after the break. And Amy, it appears the summer temperatures have returned around the Gulf.
Indeed they have, Fraser, with the mercury slightly warmer compared to those milder autumn temperatures the Spencer Gulf has experienced. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. It was a sunny and warm day in Port Augusta, 30 the top there. Whyalla reached a top of 27, while Port Lincoln remained slightly cooler, reaching 24. Broken Hill reached 31, while temperatures hovered in the high 20s in all other centres. Checking the satellite, and despite cloudy skies to the south, there won't be any rain. A high pressure system is keeping skies clear elsewhere around the state. If you're planning to spend some time on the waters tomorrow, there will be southeasterly winds up to 25 knots. Seas will reach 2.5 metres and the sun will pop up at 11 past 7. Taking a look at tomorrow's conditions, and temperatures will remain warm in Port Augusta, reaching 34, while Whyalla will see a top of 31. Temperatures in Port Lincoln will also hover in the high 20s, while Woodna and Corn can expect tops of 34. Another warm day in Broken Hill and 31, while temperatures will hover in the low 30s in all other districts. Looking towards the rest of the week, and Port Lincoln will warm up to 31 on Friday and Saturday. Temperatures will also stay in the low 30s in Cleve, while Woodna will hover in the mid-30s for the rest of the week and will reach a top of 36 on Friday. Further up the Gulf, and Whyalla will reach a warmer 34 on Saturday. Temperatures in Port Augusta will also stay in the mid-30s into the weekend, while Kadina will reach 33 most days for the week ahead. Some warmer days ahead in Port Pirie too, with temperatures creeping up towards 36 on Saturday. Clare can expect 33 over the weekend, while in Broken Hill temperatures will hover in the low 30s before reaching a top of 35 on Saturday. So Fraser, some warmer days on the way around the Spencer Gulf.
Great to hear. Thanks, Amy. A look at tonight's top stories now. Shocking dashcam footage has emerged of a terrifying near miss on an Eyre Peninsula highway. The vision has sent shockwaves through the local community, prompting police to issue a stern warning. Strong winds have stirred up yet another plume of dust from the power station site in Port Augusta. It's led to a massive protest by the local Dustbusters group, which staged a slow drive through town. And Whyalla could be the home of a pilot academy, with SA Best pledging to make it happen if it holds the balance of power. It says it'll work with Qantas to bring up to 500 people to the city for training. And that's Southern Cross News tonight. Thanks for your company. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening.